What's up, guys? We are working on dude's machine again. We hit a little sticking point with his spring kit, but you already know about that because that video is already out. So we are going to tear his whole machine apart. We got it all up. The shocks are obviously already out, but we need to get all this other bullshit off and out of the way. He's doing this for a few reasons. One, he obviously is changing the color scheme and isn't about the Zenith blue anymore. This A-arm got bent in windrock. You can see the little bow here, and you can actually see the little rock mark. That happened on Trail 12, so he was gonna have to change that anyways, and he's obviously not gonna get another factory baby blue A-arm because these things are chintzy and bend real easy. So he's gonna be running 2-inch forward offset A-arms. When those parts are here, I'll show you, but that's the plan. So we gotta get all this crap removed, and while he's at it, he's gonna do the rear, so everything will be matching. You can take a wild guess on what color all this stuff is gonna be. So I also forgot to mention, we have a common theme going here. Dude also needs a carrier bearing. So mine went first. We just did Steph's, which you should have already seen, and now he needs one too. Very nice. Great. Compared to ours, his isn't even that noisy, but it sounds like it's spinning in the little rubber guy, so we're gonna have to change that. I'll throw you guys to time lapse, and then I will pick back up with you when all the new parts are here, which could be a while. I may look older, I don't know. Well, I was hoping for a simple time lapse, but I figure I'll show you guys this. Maybe if you have a Pro XP, you've dealt with this. I know I have in the rear. I had this on my rear. The hub was stuck on the splines of the axle, and then it was stuck on the race of the bearing. And we're in the same situation with dudes. Stuck here, we've tried heat, we've been pounding the shit out of it, and nothing. We haven't gone crazy on this side, but same situation. None of this has ever been apart yet. 1,500 miles, and he's got issues in the front too. The front broke free from the splines, but it pulled the race of the bearing out with it. So that's stuck here, so we're gonna have to use some heat and pry that off. And we haven't tried this side yet. Passenger side came apart just fine. So now we're gonna just keep moving on the front end until we figure out what plan B and C are for the ass end. We're back. It's been a while. Last time we were working on this particular project was last year, so it's been a few weeks. I think we have everything to finish it now. a lot's happened. When we left off with you, we were struggling to get the rear hubs off. Dude ended up getting a 2-jaw puller and got those bad boys off. We then struggled with all of the axles. The front axles actually pulled out of the CV, which is not the biggest deal. You can just get new clamps and boom, the axle's fine. But he's gonna keep those as spares. He decided to upgrade and get all 4 Rhino 2.0s.
There's only 3.
And there's only 3 there. He opened one of the boxes and same issue. The boot was already cut and he's got to get a different one. Fortunately for him, he inspected the part before he took it out of the box. Unlike me, I got the machine back together, then noticed, but is what it is. So he's gonna be running Rhino 2.0s on this machine. In the removal of the hubs, a lot of the bearings started falling apart. Yes, I know you can put them back together, but a lot safer just to change out the bearings. Machine's got 1,500 miles, never been touched. So he's got new bearings for it. He's doing the Polaris HD ones, same ones that I got in my machine. They've been working out fine. And generally, we've been using the hydraulic press to do bearings. And for the removal, we've been using a tool that looks like this, but we pretty much destroyed it. And we didn't really have a way to get the new bearings in without destroying them. So he got the type that can be done while they're on the machine. And yeah, it looks like this from Harbor Freight, and it's got a bunch of different adapters. So pretty excited to check this thing out.
Jesus.
And now on to the good stuff here. He has the full O.R.B suspension set up here. The A-arms are 2-inch forward offset. Obviously, he's got these monster Keller ball joints. He's got the billet high clearance radius rods. Obviously, he had to have them powder coated orange. And then he got a S3 pull plate to cap off the ass end. So these heim joints are all the way in and obviously adjustable, and all the way in. They're about a 1/2 inch longer from this center point to the center point of the shock mounting hole. So we're rolling with that. So these, we have 5 turns out, still loose. We're gonna see where that gets us once we have everything installed. So these will be kind of nice for adjusting camber. Unlike mine and Steph's, you don't have to drop the whole A-arm. You just gotta take the lower ball joint out of the knuckle and you can turn it and adjust your camber like so and tighten the jam nut. He's already got all the ball joints torqued to a $140, 50.
$150 on the big one.
Yeah, $150 on the big boy.
45 on the nut.
45 on the nut, and he's got them set. They're supposed to move freely. I think you go in, touch, and back off a 16th.
Don't tight yet.
Yeah, you go till it's tight, back off a 16th, and tighten the jam nut. These are also greasable with a little like needle greaser deal. I don't know what it's called. These things are beefy. Here's a comparison of the O.R.B and the factory pencil thin one. It is pretty incredible. The difference in the uppers. They are beefy. I don't know, what do you pick them both up? What do you think the weight difference is? These feel heavy as hell. What's it weigh?
12.5 pounds.
So the factory upper is 12.5 pounds with the factory ball joint. So this setup,
16
and a half pounds. So they are heavier, but I've seen pictures of these and I thought they were beefy. And once you got to put my dirty little mitts on them, these things are pretty crazy. If you bend one of these, you probably got a lot bigger issues.
11.8.
11.8 for the lower. This one should have a pretty decent difference. The factory lowers are pathetic.
7 pounds.
7 pounds for the factory lower, 11.8 for the O.R.B. So the stuff is beefy. The radius rods, I mean, the lower radius rods that come on the Pro XP are pretty beefy, but uppers not so much. So here's a new upper, billet, aluminum, so pretty lightweight. Same thing on the lower. These look heavy, but yeah, super light. And then here's the difference in the trailing arms. Obviously, these are a lot beefier. The factory ones are kind of just made out of sheet metal, and they are not high clearance. These are high clearance. Do you remember how much?
I think like 2 inches.
So like a 2-inch increase in clearance, which is gonna be helpful. It's one of the greatest things I did to my machine, because those sheet metal ones hit everything. As you can see, flip it over. They're just kind of always riding on shit. So next goal is start getting all this shit back together and get this thing back on its wheels. So on Steph's machine, I covered me going back and forth on the steering stops that were provided. His new parts, they don't say anything about steering stops. So I actually brought these. I got these with my Super ATV A-arms. And I don't know, we might try them out because we're not sure if it's going to be too much with that 2-inch forward offset. If any of you guys run them, let us know if you're using steering stops on your forward offset A-arms. My 1.5-inch ones seem fine. I've been running them for a while now, and I've never had anything bind up. But we don't know if the 2-inch is going to require these. So first problem we hit here, the little guard for the shock is hitting against the new trailing arm. So we're just gonna take it off for now, and we're probably gonna have to trim it to get it to fit. So you can really see all 50 shades of orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
We gotta take it out.
Which way what?
Worse.
Natural?
Worse. Well, not worse. It's not like anything's broke. But no, look. Look at the big picture.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's good.
it's next day. We got pretty far last night. We can't go too much further until he gets that other axle from Super ATV. So that's why this side's sitting like this. Other than that, he still has to run all the brake lines. Once it's all together, we got to check alignment. Same thing with the front. Still got to run the brake lines. We got to double check alignment. We got to hook up the limit strap. We got to check the axle angle with the new MTS shocks. But obviously need to have it sitting on the ground. Same thing over on this side. But that's all we can do really for now. So I will check back in with you guys when we have that axle and we can get this thing fully together and start testing it out. Hopefully it's not another 3-week wait. Hopefully. All right, I'll see you guys then. And we're back once again. Hopefully this is the last leg of this project. Just like on Steph's machine, Super ATV stood behind their product, sent him a new axle out, so he's got that all back together. Looks great. But now the problem is those MTS springs, we set them up for a 4-seater, so the machine currently looks like a squatted truck, and we gotta fix that. The MTS ones, Jesus Christ. The MTS spring setup, you don't go off of inches of ground clearance, you go off of axle angle. And currently in the rear, he's sitting at 16 degrees. We need to be at 14, but he has no weight in the back, so we got to get the bed in, throw a toolbox in, and check then. The back might be okay. Front definitely has issues. 22.7 in the front. So we know for a fact we need to take some tension off the springs, back the preload nut up on the shock, and get the front lower, but we're gonna get the toolbox in and then we're gonna start messing with that. I also forgot to mention during this whole project, since everything was apart, he did some general maintenance stuff like spark plugs, and I guess this wasn't general maintenance, but he did all the brake pads, just like my machine. His rears were metal on metal for we don't know how long, so
5 miles.
he says 5 miles, but there's probably at least 1 0 after that. Anyways, they're all changed now. With the added weight of the toolbox.
Easy. It's 14.
And dude, what is it?
14.60.
We're at a little over 14 and a half.
Check both sides.
Check the other one.
Easy.
What you got?
1490. 1480.
14.8.
7.
So, backs might be good. And I guess we'll lower the fronts and drive it a little bit and see where we're at. So we are back to using this tool. I know in the video on Dude's Springs, this tool failed miserably, but we're hoping just doing the adjustments, it'll work out. Because we just want to take some tension off so we can back that preload nut up and get this thing lower.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Well, that spring compressor failed us again. We had to pull it off the machine. The front's so high, we're not even sure if we're gonna be able to fit the limit straps on there. We could be wrong because we're uneducated on this stuff, but the math isn't adding up. So we got a little less than 2 inches, and our math tells us to get the ride height, we need 2.5 inches, which means that's going to be in the way.
You suck at math.
And it's pretty unfortunate we have to take it off, because take it off, adjust, if it's wrong, we got to take it off again.
Much later.
So we didn't film any of it because I know this video is getting super long, but we moved the preload nut back up about 1.5 inches. We only have a 1/2 inch left before we'd be up against the shock therapy limit strap mounting plate. So at this point, the front doesn't look promising as far as being correct, but we're gonna go drive it around and bring it back and check the angles and see what's up. So this is the first time the machine's really been driven since doing all the work. While we were in there taking the shocks off, we also rechecked the toe and got that adjustment all set, so we'll see how it drives. So we had him roll and not hit the brakes to come to a stop. My understanding is that's the best way to do this, because when you hit the brakes, it kind of shifts the machine. So we're gonna check the angles again. I think it's bouncing around because it's running, but around 13.8, 14 in the rear, so that's pretty close to where he wants to be. That doesn't make sense. Well, that's quite the turn of events there. It's at 12.7. I mean, make sure I'm not crazy. I know it's a change if you get out, but yeah, so I guess I don't know where I've been trying to, like, I did steps on that sticker because it's the center. Oh, well, I don't know. It's at 12.7 for me. But whatever, I mean,
13.3, 13.6.
so he's real close to 13 degrees in the front. So I think we're gonna leave it there for now and see. It still seems high, but I don't know. Where are you at?
16 3/4.
How much?
16 3/4.
That seems right.
15.5.
The math didn't add up, but this is damn close, and I think we can hook up the limit straps now. So I think he's gonna run it like this for now, and we'll just kind of monitor it, but it's real close. This is actually the first test drive too after the gear reduction. So he tested, well, we're in reverse now, tested low a little bit. We're gonna just make sure high works. Seems to be working. So for now, that's gonna be pretty much it for this project.
Yeah.
We found that the limit strap little mounting plate hits on the A-arm, so we got to play around with that a little bit. He got the shock guard cut out, trimmed to fit around the new O.R.B trailing arm, so he's just got to bolt them up, and that'll be done. Other than that, I think he's going to play around with the brake lines and where they run a little bit, and on the front, and then that's I think that's pretty much it for this phase of 50 Shades of Orange.
Thanks for watching the video. Please like and subscribe, and catch you on the next one.
Thank you.